Okay, let's define neurodivergent. And if you're wondering what I'm looking at over here to the side, this is where all my notes are. So this is what I'm teaching from. Normally, if I was in a classroom, I'd have like a podium, and I'd have my notes all over the place so I could like walk around and look and teach. But since I'm stationary, I'm looking to the side because that's where my notes are. So neurodivergent refers to anyone who differs in mental or neurological function from what is considered typical. I'm gonna say that again. It's the state of differing in mental or neurological function from what is considered typical. So, shorter way to say it, anyone's brain that works in a way that the general population does not consider normal is considered neurodivergent. I'll give you some examples of what those are in a minute. Just hang with me. Now, neurotypical is thinking, behaving, or perceiving in ways that are considered normal by the general population, okay? So neurodivergent, your brain works in ways that society deems not normal. And that's really important, the society part. So just hold on to that, okay? I want to come back around to that. And then neurotypical is when you function, your brain perceives, you think or behave in ways that when society looks at you, they say, yeah, she's normal, okay? Neurodiversity is an idea, and I want to give a shout out because this comes from a sociologist from the 80s, Judy Singer. This comes from her master's thesis work where she makes this argument, right? She comes up with this idea that the variations in the brain that we would consider disorders, like autism or ADHD, right? We currently consider them disorders. She made the argument, and this argument has been embraced by a tremendous amount of people, that these are normal variations in the brain, right? It's not abnormal, right? The same way that we have diversity in everything else. Diversity in skin color, in eye color, in height, in weight, in this function, in that function. We should also expect then to have diversity in brain function. So the diversity that we see is not abnormal. It is, in fact, a normal variation. And if you believe, right, if you buy into the idea that it is a normal variation, then you would then understand that these features are strengths and that these individuals with these features should be included in society. And this idea has become a movement. So it's really interesting when you study neurodiversity, especially when I was preparing for this lecture, it was clear that there was a split in the way the term is used. Neurodiversity can be about one person, right? The neurodivergent person, but it can also be about an idea that is the sort of seed to a movement. And the neurodiversity movement is the change in the social and political categorization of people who are neurodivergent. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating, right? So by that I mean, in a society where we have made it legal and socially acceptable to say if a person's brain does not behave or function or perceive in a way that's normal, it is legal for us to put those people in a separate space, to exclude them, to make certain assumptions about their abilities to work, their abilities to love, their ability to marry, to parent. We have the ability to do that, right? This new movement is saying, no, 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 no. Not only are we not going to exclude them, we're going to create protections for them. We're going to challenge the social constructions that exclude them. And we're going to make an argument for their strengths and challenge the larger society to see beyond the narrow confines of which they've defined normal. Right? What this term is doing is taking normal from this to that. It's really interesting. What the neurodiversity movement is arguing and is pushing for is saying, look, diversity exists everywhere. Why wouldn't it exist in the brain? And if we can accept that, then why shouldn't people who are considered neurodivergent not have the same protections and opportunities that everyone else has? And that's a really, really important question, and you'll understand why as we move on. But before we get too far into this, because I'm getting super excited, let's talk about who is considered neurodivergent.